Whispers from the Void. The starship Artemis drifted silently through the nebula debris as Ayana Koshi stared at the tactical display floating before her eyes. "We have confirmation on the Nexus flagship," her first officer said quietly. "They're closing in on the settlement." Ayana nodded her acknowledgement as she brushed a strand of dark hair from her face. The weight of command had never felt heavier than in this moment. Earth's last free colony hung in the balance, and with it, the fate of what remained of human independence. "Open a channel to all ships," she ordered. "This is Commander Koshi. We stand as the final line against tyranny. When the Nexus Confederation came to our world, we believed their promises of peace. Instead, they brought subjugation. This ends today." The bridge fell silent as her words echoed across the comm system. The ragtag fleet of 17 vessels represented humanity's last resistance. The approaching Nexus Armada outnumbered them 5-1. "Incoming. Transmission." The communications officer announced, "It's from the Nexus flagship." The holographic display shimmered and shifted, revealing a figure that caused everyone on the bridge to tense. The alien ruler of the Nexus Confederation, Thalix, stood, tall and imposing. Their purple skin seemed to shimmer with an inner radiance beneath the ornate silver battle armor. Their eyes locked with Ayana's through the display. "Commander Koshi." Thalix spoke, their voice melodic yet cold. "Your resistance is both illogical and futile. The Nexus brings order to chaos. Your species clings to disorder and calls it freedom." Ayana stepped forward. "We define our own future. We didn't ask for your intervention or your protection, and yet we provided both." Thalix countered. Their expression remained perfectly composed. "I've studied your history, Commander. The endless wars, the environmental collapse, the genetic plagues. Your species was dying before we arrived." "Perhaps," Ayana admitted, "but that was our journey to make our mistakes to overcome. We never surrendered our autonomy." Something flickered across Thalix's features, a momentary break in their perfect composure. "Surrender now, Commander. I offer terms more generous than any before your people will be integrated with dignity. Those who resist will not receive such consideration." Ayana felt a chill at the casual way the alien spoke of erasing human independence. "We've uploaded our demands. You want peace? Recognize our sovereignty. Allow us to govern ourselves." "Impossible." Thalix's voice remained steady, but something in their eyes had changed. "The Nexus does not recognize fractured governance. It creates inefficiency." "Then we have nothing more to discuss," Ayana said, cutting the transmission. She turned to her crew. "Battle stations, all ships engage as planned." The next hours passed in chaos and fire. The human fleet fought with desperate courage, but Nexus technology proved overwhelming. One by one, Ayana watched her ships fall until only the Artemis remained. Hull breach on decks 4-7. Her tactical officer reported, "Weapons are offline, life support failing." Ayana closed her eyes briefly. "Initiate Protocol Omega," she commanded. "Commander," her first officer, protested, "That's a suicide run. It's our last option." She replied, "Set course for the Nexus flagship maximum thrust." As the Artemis accelerated toward the massive alien vessel, Ayana felt strange calm. She had never imagined her end would come. This way the ship shuddered around her as enemy fire tore through its failing shields. The last thing she remembered was a brilliant flash of light, and Thalix's face appearing once more on the view screen. Their perfect composure gone, replaced by an expression Ayana couldn't identify. Then darkness claimed her. Fractured reflections. Consciousness returned to Ayana in waves. Pain radiated through her body as her eyes struggled to focus on unfamiliar surroundings. Gone was the command bridge of the Artemis, replaced by rough stone walls and the soft glow of bioluminescent moss. The air carried a faint mineral scent, unfamiliar yet not unpleasant. "You're finally awake," a voice observed. Ayana turned her head, wincing at the movement. A woman with dark hair and weathered features sat nearby, tending to A small cooking fire. Where am I? Ayana asked, her voice rough from disuse. Who are you? My name is Dr. Chen, the woman replied, stirring something in a small pot. As for where you are, welcome to Kareth 9, one of the most forgotten moons in the outer territories. She offered a thin smile, and apparently your new home. Memories flooded back. The battle. The final desperate charge toward the Nexus flagship. My crew, Ayana whispered. The colony, Dr. Chen's expression softened. I can't tell you much. I've been here for 3 years since my research station was destroyed in a Nexus pacification operation. Most information doesn't reach this far into the void. Ayana attempted to sit up, ignoring the protest of her muscles. How did I survive? The Artemis was breaking apart. That remains a mystery, Dr. Chen said, passing her a cup of steaming liquid. You arrived in an escape pod 2 weeks ago, unconscious but alive. No identification, no distress beacon, nothing that would draw attention. The implications weren't lost on Ayana. Someone had deliberately hidden her presence, saved her life while ensuring she couldn't be found. The last thing I remember is the Nexus flagship, she murmured. Their leader, Thalix, was on the comm. Dr. Chen's eyes widened slightly. The Supreme Commander of the Nexus personally engaged with you? That's unprecedented. They rarely acknowledge opposition directly. Ayana sipped the bitter liquid, letting its warmth spread through her body. How? Many others are here on this moon? Just 3 of us now, Dr. Chen replied. Cooper maintains our power systems, Sarah handles agriculture. We survive, we stay hidden. Days stretched into weeks as Ayana regained her strength. The small outpost nestled within a massive cave system provided basic necessities and safety from detection. Cooper, a former engineer, with a quick laugh, and Sarah, whose quiet efficiency masked deep loss, became her new companions. They asked few questions about her past, accepting her presence with the resignation of those who had learned that the past was better. Left buried. 6 months passed in the rhythm of survival. Ayana helped expand their hydroponics bay, reinforced the cave's support structures, and joined hunting expeditions across the moon's barren surface. Life continued in the shadow of defeat, until the day everything changed. Ayana was returning from checking the perimeter sensors when she noticed unusual atmospheric disturbances on her scanner. A ship was approaching, moving with deliberate stealth. She raced back to the outpost. Something's coming, she warned the others. Small vessel approximately 5 kilometers out and descending. Cooper grabbed his modified mining laser. Nexus patrol? Don't think so, Ayana replied, studying the readings. The signature doesn't match Nexus design. Too small, too quiet. Scavengers, perhaps, Sarah suggested, already moving to secure their supplies. They sometimes venture this far, searching for abandoned tech. Whoever it is, they found us deliberately, Ayana said. Those approach vectors are too precise for accident. They positioned themselves near the cave entrance, weapons ready, as the distant whine of engines grew louder. A sleek craft unlike any Ayana recognized settled on the rocky plain 100 meters from their position. Its hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The exit ramp descended and a single figure emerged. Ayana felt her breath catch. The unmistakable purple skin, the tall, elegant form, the piercing eyes that had haunted her dreams since the battle. Thalix, Supreme Commander of the Nexus Confederation, stood alone without guards or weapons. Their gaze swept the landscape before settling directly on Ayana's position. Impossible, Dr. Chen whispered. Why would they come here personally, without an army? Stay back, Ayana ordered, stepping forward into the open, her weapon trained on the alien ruler. One signal from me and the others will detonate the charges we've placed around your ship. Thalix made no move toward her. Their expression remained unreadable. Commander Koshi, they said, I've come alone. Why? Ayana demanded. To finish what you started? To eliminate the last symbol of human resistance? If that were my intention, Thalix replied, I would not have ensured your survival 6 months ago. The revelation struck Ayana like a physical blow. You saved me. Why? Thalix took a single step forward. Because when our eyes met across the battlefield, something unexpected happened. For the first time, uncertainty crossed their features. I hesitated. Something I have never done in 3 centuries of existence. I don't understand. Ayana said, her weapon still raised. Neither do I, Thalix admitted, and that is why I am here to understand what connects us. Why I cannot erase you from my thoughts, why the perfect order of my existence has been disrupted since the moment I first saw you. Their words hung in the air between them, along with a question neither was prepared to answer. Veiled intentions. This is absurd, Ayana said, keeping her weapon steady. You expect me to believe the Supreme Commander of the Nexus abandoned their post to chase a feeling? Thalix remained perfectly still, their expression shifting subtly. The Nexus functions without my constant oversight. The Council believes I am on a diplomatic mission to the outer systems. Their eyes never left Ayana's. What they do not know is that for the first time in my existence, I am acting without the collective's approval. Cooper moved forward, his posture tense. Commander, we should eliminate this threat now. We'll never have another chance. An understandable sentiment, Thalix observed without concern. But consider what my disappearance would trigger. The Nexus would scour every inhabited world in this sector. They would not stop until every human enclave was destroyed. Ayana knew they were right. A direct attack would doom whatever remained of human resistance. What do you want from me? Conversation. Thalix replied simply, nothing more. Against every instinct, Ayana lowered her weapon. Cooper, Dr. Chen returned to the outpost, keep the emergency protocols active. When they hesitated, she added, that's an order. Reluctantly, her companions withdrew, leaving Ayana alone with the being responsible for humanity's subjugation, the alien who by their own admission had saved her life. Walk with me, Commander. Thalix suggested, gesturing toward the rocky path that led away from the settlement. They moved in silence across the barren landscape. The small moon's weak gravity made each step lighter, creating an almost dreamlike quality to their progress. Finally, they reached a ridge overlooking a vast plain where crystalline formations caught the light of distant stars. My people were not always as you see us now, Thalix said, breaking the silence. We evolved on a world of extremes, savage predators, toxic atmosphere. Survival required perfect adaptation. So you engineered yourselves. Ayana concluded. Thalix nodded. Over thousands of generations we removed inefficiencies, emotional responses, individualistic tendencies, everything that did not serve the collective. They turned to face her, until we became what we are now: unified, efficient, perfect, and empty, Ayana added. Something flickered in Thalix's eyes. That assessment would be considered heresy among my people. But you didn't deny it. Ayana noted, I cannot. Thalix admitted, since our encounter, I have experienced anomalies. Thoughts that are uniquely mine, sensations I cannot categorize, desires beyond the collective good. They stepped closer. I came here to understand why. Despite herself, Ayana felt drawn to the alien's presence. The purple luminescence of their skin cast soft shadows across the stark landscape. And what have you learned? That there is beauty in imperfection, Thalix said, their voice softer than before. Your species fights even when logic dictates surrender. You create art that serves no function. You experience emotions that provide no evolutionary advantage. Their hand lifted hesitantly before dropping back. These things were engineered out of us generations ago. You envy us, Ayana realized, even as you conquer us. The Nexus brings order, Thalix replied with what seemed like practiced certainty. We eliminate conflict, suffering, chaos, while erasing everything that makes life worth living, Ayana countered. Days passed into weeks. Thalix's ship remained hidden beyond the ridge. Each evening they would return to the settlement, sharing knowledge of Nexus technology. Dr. Chen cautiously accepted their presence, intrigued by the opportunity to study Nexus biology. Cooper remained hostile. While Sarah watched with quiet calculation, Ayana found herself drawn to their conversations. Thalix possessed knowledge spanning centuries, yet approached human concepts with almost childlike curiosity. "Explain this concept of music again," Thalix requested one evening as they sat near the cooking fire. "We have sound, of course, patterns and rhythms for communication, but nothing like what you describe." Ayana found an old data pad and played a classical piece. The notes of Bach's cello suite filled the small cave. Thalix sat motionless, their eyes closed. "What do you feel?" Ayana asked when the music ended. "I do not know." Thalix answered, their voice strangely vulnerable. "Something I have no reference for. Something overwhelming." Without thinking, Ayana reached out her hand, covering Thalix's. The alien's skin was smooth, warmer than human touch. The contact sent an unexpected current through her. "That," Thalix whispered, staring at their joined hands. "That sensation, what is it?" "Connection," Ayana said softly, unable to pull away. "Something your perfect evolution couldn't program out completely." Thalix's fingers tentatively entwined with hers. "The Nexus would consider this corruption." "And what do you consider it?" Ayana asked, her heart racing with unexpected emotion. Before Thalix could answer, alarms blared throughout the settlement. Cooper burst into the chamber. "Multiple ships entering orbit," he reported breathlessly. "Nexus signatures." Thalix rose immediately. "Impossible, I left no trail." Dr. Chen studied the scanner readings. 7 vessels, standard Nexus configuration. They're deploying search patterns. "They're looking for you," Ayana said to Thalix. "Aren't they?" The alien's expression darkened. "The Council must have detected the anomalies in my thought patterns. They would consider such individualism dangerous. Something to be corrected. Or they tracked the ship." Cooper suggested, his tone accusatory. "This was the plan all along. Gain our trust, then signal your fleet." "If I wanted you found, you would be dead already," Thalix replied sharply. Before turning to Ayana, their voice softening, "I must draw them away from this moon." "They'll recondition you," Ayana realized. "Erase whatever changes have happened." For the first time, fear showed clearly on Thalix's face. "Yes, they will restore me to perfect efficiency." Their eyes met in silent understanding. The connection between them, fragile and unexpected, would be destroyed. Ayana made a decision that defied all logic. "Then we leave together." "Our twilight of empires." "You can't be serious," Cooper exclaimed as Ayana began gathering essential supplies. "Leaving with them? The very architect of Earth's downfall?" Ayana continued her preparations. "I don't expect you to understand. The Nexus is hunting one of their own now. We can use that knowledge against them." Sarah stepped forward. "It's more than strategy, isn't it? There's something between you two." Ayana paused, unable to deny the truth. "Whatever it is, it's changing them, and that might be our only hope for peace." Dr. Chen studied Thalix thoughtfully. "The biological implications are fascinating. A being engineered for emotional suppression, developing attachments. Such evolution could ripple throughout their collective. Time is critical." Thalix interrupted. "The search patterns will reach this sector within hours." Under the cover of darkness, they boarded Thalix's ship. The sleek vessel hummed to life, responding to the alien's touch. "This craft has experimental shielding," Thalix explained. "It can mask our signature temporarily." As they broke atmosphere, Ayana watched the moon shrink behind them, her companions left behind for their own safety. The vast darkness of space stretched before them, punctuated by the ominous silhouettes of Nexus warships. "Where can we go?" she asked. "The Nexus controls nearly every habitable system." "There is one place," Thalix replied, their hands dancing across the controls. "A forgotten outpost in the Calderon Nebula beyond Nexus, jurisdiction where even their sensors cannot penetrate." Their journey was fraught with near detection and desperate maneuvers, each close call drawing them into greater synchronicity. Their conversations deepened as they navigated the void between stars, Thalix sharing millennia of history, Ayana explaining the complexity of human emotion. During one quiet moment as the ship drifted silently, Thalix approached her. "The changes continue," they admitted. "I feel things I was never designed to experience." Their purple skin seemed to pulse with inner light. "When I look at you, I see not an inferior species, but something I have been missing." Ayana felt herself drawn forward. "And what is that?" "Completeness," Thalix whispered. Their lips met hesitantly at first, then with growing certainty. Two beings from opposite ends of the galaxy finding unexpected harmony. The kiss deepened as boundaries between human and alien dissolved beneath the light of distant stars. Their moment of connection shattered as alarms screamed through the ship. "Nexus interceptors," Thalix announced, moving swiftly to the controls. "They've found us." The familiar voice of Kai, the Nexus second commander, echoed through the communication system. "Supreme Commander, Thalix, you are ordered to surrender. The human has corrupted your programming. Return for reconditioning." Thalix's expression hardened. "I make my own choices now, Kai." "Then you will be terminated along with the human aberration," Kai responded. "The Council has declared you compromised." Energy beams lashed across space, striking their shields with devastating force. The ship spun as Thalix executed evasive maneuvers. "Hold on," they called to Ayana as the vessel plunged toward the swirling gases of the nebula. The last thing Ayana saw before impact was Thalix reaching for her, their eyes filled with an emotion no Nexus being should possess. Beyond the stars. Consciousness returned slowly. Ayana blinked against harsh light. Her body ached, but she was alive. The ship lay partially buried in crystalline sand atmosphere, thin but breathable. "Thalix?" she called out, rising unsteadily. She found them outside, studying the horizon. Their normally luminescent skin dimmed with injury. "We've reached the Forgotten Zone," they said without turning. "Beyond Nexus control, but our ship is beyond repair." The landscape stretched endlessly. Crystalline formations caught starlight in prismatic displays, a beauty both alien and familiar. "They'll keep searching," Ayana said, moving to stand beside them. "Yes." Thalix agreed. The Nexus cannot allow the corruption to spread. The idea that their perfect evolution might be flawed. They turned to her. "The connection we share represents everything they fear." "Can it really change things?" Ayana asked. "Two beings alone against an empire?" "It already has," Thalix replied, taking her hand. "Before you, I was a perfect extension of the collective. Now I am something new, something more." A distant rumble interrupted them. Ships breaking atmosphere. Not Nexus design, but older vessels bearing the insignia of the human resistance. "Impossible," Ayana whispered. The lead ship landed nearby, and familiar figures emerged. Dr. Chen Cooper, Sarah, and others Ayana had thought lost. "How did you find us?" she asked, embracing them. "Your Nexus friend isn't the only one with secrets," Cooper said with a hint of pride. The resistance continued underground, waiting for the right moment, which has now arrived. Dr. Chen added, "The Nexus is fracturing. Supreme Commander Thalix's defection has triggered something unexpected. Other commanders are questioning the collective, their perfect unity disrupted by the possibility of change." Thalix stepped forward. "My people were not always as you see us. We can remember what was lost." As night fell over the crystalline world, Ayana stood with Thalix watching twin moons rise, their hands intertwined, purple skin against human. "What happens now?" she asked. "Something unprecedented?" Thalix replied, their voice filled with wonder. "We write our own future. Neither human nor Nexus, but something new." They turned to her eyes, shining with emotion, once thought impossible for their kind. Together, their lips met beneath alien stars. A connection that defied evolution engineering and the vast emptiness of space. Two souls finding each other across impossible divides. And in that moment both knew the war between their peoples would end. Not through conquest but through understanding. Not through perfect evolution but through the beautiful imperfection of love. In the distance, the resistant ships prepared for departure, carrying word of change back to both human colonies and Nexus worlds. The beginning of something neither side could have imagined. A future born from the most unexpected of connections. As the galaxy turned, they remained joined. Two beings who had found in each other the missing pieces of themselves, the commander, who defied an empire, and the ruler who discovered their soul.